What up, players? It's Warboss Tail in this mud. Welcome back to my How to Paint a Knight of the White Wolf. Thank you for my correct pronunciation. Correction. Oh, I don't even have the guy's name. Somebody from Germany was like, oh, you gotta replace the W's with Z's and V's and for the T's. And I was like, oh, yes, thank you, thank you. So, we're going to show you how to finish up your Knight of the White Wolf to get to this standard. We're highlighting up the cape, we're highlighting up the face. One thing I forgot to do, oh, and all the armor and weapons. One thing I forgot to do, though, was to do the scar tissue for this guy's busted up ear. So I'm going to do that now. And knock it out of the way, kind of like a reverse order thing. So I'm going to be using my Carrouberg Crimson and Leviathan Purple from the old school washes range. First we're going to paint the red where his ear would be, and for those of you who don't know why I'm doing this, it's because his ear is supposed to look like this. I thought it was a piece of flash on the model's head because it was right under the mold line, so I chopped it off. And now he's got a big crater where his ear is supposed to be. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go with it. And make it look like his ear was ripped off in battle, and that'll be fine. Next I'm doing the Leviathan Purple, painting that baby on to give it a sickly, scarred look. Oh, that's a little too much, so I'm gonna wipe off some of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. Also, you know what? Since I've got you here, since you're watching this part of the video anyway, let's give him a little shading under the eyes with some Asurmen Blue. Give him some eyeshadow. Use a smaller brush for this. I've used Hawk Turquoise before to do this, but Asurmen Blue works just as well. Just kind of giving him a dark, you know, when they say you've got bags under your eyes or dark circles under your eyes from lack of sleep, that's what we're doing. Oh yes, that looks so cool, that looks so cool, you guys! But what are you looking at? Ah, that's kind of Russian. What are you looking at? I'm a Knight of the White Wolf. So yeah, stay tuned to learn how I painted the rest of him. No idea what accent I'm going to keep for my future Ulrich models, but yeah, I think this is good. This is good, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the rest of the video. Okay, so we're going to get started, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to re-highlight the chainmail, or the color chainmail, actually, or whichever color you're using from the new range. Because the washes have dried and they've stained our model to give him a real dirty kind of look on the armor, the chainmail is going to catch the light, be nice and reflective and shiny. So today's the official release date of the new White Dwarf. So yeah, I picked one up, and I'm just gonna keep on keeping on painting the color schemes of the Empire. You know what, I'm having a good time, so So whatever, what are you gonna do, you know? What you might have done with your Balthazar gold is you might have accidentally gotten some of it on the silver, on the plate mail, so this is when you would be fixing those mistakes. Like here on under the shoulder, I had some of this gold actually like getting onto the sleeve part, so I just fixed that up right now. You know what I had noticed? I'm also I haven't done my review of the How to Paint Citadel Miniatures, the new book yet, but I don't know, I'm not that impressed with the quality of like the painting in it for some reason. Like all of the strokes, paint strokes look pretty sloppy to me, and I don't know why that is. Like, it looks just kind of thick and sloppy, and it's like it's marring all the detail. I'm not saying that like I'm an expert, you know. I'm no like Mike McVeigh, but it's kind of weird that it's supposed to be, you know, inspiring and teaching and getting people chomping at the bit to paint, and to me anyway, it just seems kind of like beginner skill. But I guess that's kind of what, you know, what they want, to kind of inspire beginners to paint, or people who might not be really confident in their painting skills yet. But oh, there you can see some Balthazar gold right under this gold part right there. But to me, you know, I don't know. I mean, that's what I try to do with my videos, get people motivated to paint to a good standard, from beginner to even higher. But I don't know, at what point do you draw the line? What am I talking about? I don't know. Just gonna touch up the silver here. It looks a little dull. Okay, that's enough philosophizing on Games Workshop's How to Paint Miniatures book. The thing that I love about the Knights of the White Wolf is that they are not your stereotypical knights, lords and ladies, and you know, they're like Warhammer Fantasy's Space Wolves, in that they're kind of rugged, and they're like the complete opposite of like a Bretonnian knight, say. And I'm actually digging through my old source book, Warhammer City of Chaos from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 1st edition, and it's the whole first part of the book is all about Middenheim, and it's this great fortress city on the mountain, and just how awesomely detailed it is. And so I was looking up the part about the Knights of the White Wolf, and it's talking about how the White Wolf Templars are really there to guard the Graf, and they're like his... Wait, are they the personal guard? You know what? Let me look it up. The Templars of the White Wolf, whereas the Knights Panther are dedicated to the service of the Graf, who's like the leader. The Templars are responsible directly to our Ulrich, who is like the high priest of the cult of Ulrich. So they're supposed to like be his bodyguards, take him around to when he visits temples outside the city and whatnot. And I just think it's so awesome that they're so fluffy, you know. They're like they're totally religious to the cult of Ulrich. Codex Grey, we're gonna highlight up now the cloak. Oops, focus. And yeah, Templars, so awesome. Whereas the Knights Panther are just like, you know, nobles, sons of nobles, that are in it for the glory, perhaps, and the accolades. The Knights of the White Wolf are totally devout and, you know, into the cult of Ulrich being the best cult, the best religion in the old world. Really cool stuff. I think I might have to refocus just a little bit to see this dry brush in action. Fortress Grey, old colors, but you know, you can use the new equivalent. For anybody who's watching this who hasn't heard me say it yet, I'm using many of the old colors, but because I don't have the new equivalents yet. But you could get the new equivalents from your stores if they don't sell the old colors anymore. By you could use the same, basically the same colors. If you go to Games Workshop's website and go to paints and tools, and then Citadel Paints on the left-hand tab bar, and then scroll down to Converter, the paint converter. So what you'll notice that I did here was that I only dry brushed the areas that were raised, such as here and here on the end and the head, of course. I did not highlight this shaded part, so it creates the optical illusion from far away that there's shadow in there when there really isn't. Oh, isn't that awesome? I think that's pretty cool. Okay, we're also going to take let's see if we can do this, how we can do this. I'm going to take a little bit of Tallarn Flesh in this next step, and I'm going to mix it with Codex Grey, and I'm going to use 2 parts Codex Grey to 1 part Tallarn Flesh. So however much Tallarn Flesh I put onto my wet palette, I'm putting twice as much Codex Grey basically, and it's going to create this kind of pink tone to the Codex Grey color, and I'm going to kind of highlight up the wolf's face with that. You could also use, if you want more like White Fang kind of wolves, from that old Jack London story where the wolves are like really white, then you can use Dheneb Stone instead of Tallarn Flesh, so it doesn't have that pink color. In fact, now that I think about it, that's maybe I should have gone with that direction, but I'm gonna keep this because I'm gonna stick with it, and we'll just see how this turns out. Focus, Igor, focus! So now let's do the same thing with Dheneb Stone, so that we get that pale color with Codex Grey. The Codex Grey is really just there to match up the color to the rest of the fur, whereas the Dheneb Stone is what's going to pick up the highlights. Yeah, with that Tallarn Flesh mix right underneath, this makes a pretty good highlight color for it. Last thing we're gonna do with this wolf before we let him go to sleep for good. Oh, that's so grim. We're going to paint his nose Chaos Black, or Abaddon Black. It's nice how they tried to keep some of the same general like naming conventions. Blood Red, Mephiston Red because he's a blood angel, Chaos Black, Abaddon Black because he's chaos. You're also going to take your Chaos Black while you have it, and we're going to line this guy's eyeballs. Very cool. Okay, now we're gonna highlight up the skin. For this step, we're using mixture of Tallarn Flesh and Dheneb Stone, about 1-to-1, and I got started already. So just to show you kind of what the level is we're going for. You kind of see it there, and now let's get to the other side of his face. When doing any kind of skin, you want to make sure that your brush doesn't have too much paint on it. When you're highlighting, that is. At least for me, that's true, because it's so easy to get too much paint on your brush and then on the figure, and that results in just having a sloppy looking paint job because the paint is too thick. There we go. And you don't want that. Better to get less on and have to just apply more, rather than get too much on and slap on too much paint at the beginning and just have it look really bad. So don't worry if he looks too pale and too white, if the skin is just too pallid. Because we're going to tone it down with a little wash, but we want it to look like, you know, the cold northerner that he is. So let that dry for a second. Is there anything else we need to do? Oh yeah, we're gonna take some, where is my, I'm gonna highlight up the gold now. We're gonna use shining gold. Balthazar gold is a great base, but you definitely want some kind of shining gold, or some kind of gold color, and I'm not really sure what the new gold is, but for us old schoolers, shining gold will work. I don't even think it's called gold anymore. When I was looking at the paint shop the other day, I saw one called like brass or copper. Anyways, if you have a Middenheim army, Knights of the White Wolf, definitely very cool, very fluffy. Oh, this is a really hard angle to paint at. So very fluffy, meaning that like it'll look really cool on the table, and your opponent will be like, "Wow, you really stuck to the theme of the, you know, Middenheim," and especially if you have like Middenheimers, Middenlanders. I'm not gonna do a how to paint Middenland State Trooper just because they're exactly like the Middenheim State Trooper, except for instead of painting white, you would paint just a lighter shade of blue as the accent color. Look at that face. Look at that face. How can you say no to a face like that? That's just awesome. Okay, so we're gonna take our Ogryn Flesh now, and we're gonna do a light. Right now it should be dry. We're gonna do a light wash over the face. For you new painters out there, you beginning painters, or those of you who are even intermediate level, this guy's eyes are really, really small. So you could totally just do fine not painting the eyes, just leaving them black, because from far away, from table distance, you won't be able to tell anyway. And the thing, one of the things that I've noticed when looking at models is that a lot of people tend to paint the eyes really just too big. Like they want to paint the eyes, but then the white ends up being too garish and whatever, and too big, basically. so that it sticks out. It makes it look unrealistic. But like there, right there, just with the blacks in the pupils, you can't really tell that this guy doesn't have, you know, that I didn't paint the white and then the black slashes down the middle, because he's also got the bags under his eyes too. So it should be fine. This is the last thing we're gonna do with this guy. I'm gonna wait for a second and then we'll give him, actually what we can do with the wolf, now that the highlight is dry, is take some Nuln Oil or a Dheneb Black. And we're going to just give a light wash of the pelt of the wolf head. The head on the wolf pelt. What am I saying? I'm all backwards. There you go. So yeah, once you've got that Ogryn Flesh wash to tie it in the Dheneb Stone to the Tallarn Flesh, it definitely looks not, you know, that Tallarn Flesh baby, newborn baby pink, ties it down to a really rugged looking, cold, pale skinned, kind of gives it those kinds of qualities, which makes it look really, really good. So yeah. This is how I paint, or I would paint if I was going to paint a whole unit of these guys. You don't really need to do anything else. The inside of the cape looks perfectly fine as it is. If you want to give it like a brown wash, a light sepia wash, or a watered down Agrax Earth Shade, which is the new Dublin mud, you could do that, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned because we're gonna do something a little different, a little fun for the next Empire Province, which is going to be Nordland. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's just take a look at the guy as he is. Oh, so awesome. Sir Gunther. That will be his name, Sir Gunther. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, why did you cut my skin off?